Welcome to a deep dive, everyone. Today, we're really going deep into the world of Nikola Tesla. You hear the name and it's like instant science cred, right?
Absolutely a legend. And you've given us quite the stack of stuff to dig through on him.
Yeah.
Declassified FBI files, biographical stuff, even articles from the Slavic American magazine.
Yeah, the Slavic American, who knew?
Yeah.
So where do we even start with this? We've got to untangle the genius, the myths, the man himself.
Well, he wasn't born a legend, right? I mean, the guy started as a kid in a small village in the Austro-Hungarian Empire.
Right, 1856, Smiljan. His dad was a priest. Serbian Orthodox, the documents say, had him all set to follow in his footsteps. But young Nikola, totally different path.
Yeah, this wasn't your average kid. Math, science, that's what grabbed him. It's all in the documents. Like, he was wired for it. And get this. His mom, an inventor, too, apparently.
No way. So maybe it ran in the family, this whole inventor thing.
Could be. But picture this. 1884, Tesla shows up in New York City. And get this. The FBI report actually mentions this. He's got like 4 cents to his name. Talk about starting from scratch.
Wow. 4 cents. That's some serious guts, right? He must really believed in himself and his ideas to make a leap like that.
No kidding. But talent finds a way. He gets a job, American telephone system. And later on, hold on to your hats, he's working with Thomas Edison himself.
Edison. See, now that's a pairing for the history books, although I'm guessing it wasn't all smooth sailing, right? 2 giant personalities like that, going head-to-head on the future of electricity, no less.
Yeah, that's the story, isn't it? Those big clashes of big minds. Edison was all about direct current, DC power, but Tesla, he's the AC current guy.
And just for those of us who, don't speak fluent electricity, what's the difference again?
Right, so DC, it's like a one-way street for the electricity, batteries, that kind of thing. But AC, it's back and forth, alternating. And that back and forth, that's the key to sending power over long distances.
Which we need. Can you imagine trying to power a city with a bunch of batteries?
It'd be a mess. But Tesla, he saw the future, and it was AC, alternating current.
And let's be real, he wasn't wrong. His vision, it's what powers our world, right? Homes, cities, everything.
No doubt. Tesla wasn't just tinkering in a lab, he was reshaping how we live. He didn't just want to light up a room, he wanted to light up the world and make sure everyone had access to that power.
And he proved it could work on a huge scale at Niagara Falls with that hydroelectric power station. This is some science project. It was a statement.
Yeah, that's Tesla, big ideas, and he makes them happen. But then, the story takes a bit of a turn. He dies in 1943, kind of a recluse, really. Leaves behind all these notes, inventions, unanswered questions, and then the FBI steps in. They take all his stuff.
Whoa, hold up. What's the FBI got to do with Nikola Tesla?
Well, think about it. World War II is raging, it's all hands on deck, and then boom, Cold War. Anything that looks like it could be a weapon, the FBI wants to know about it, especially something as potentially world-changing as Tesla's work. And Tesla, he's not just some guy tinkering in a lab. This is a Serbian guy, proud of his heritage, and the FBI, well, they're getting more and more concerned about communist stuff, especially in those communities. Cold War paranoia.
So they thought Tesla was a communist. That's a big leap.
Well, it's murky. The documents, they don't exactly connect him to anything like that, but there's this undercurrent of worry. Like, what if, it was a different time, people were scared. The FBI, they were looking for communists everywhere, under every rock.
Right, so you got this brilliant scientist from a community they're already suspicious of. It's like he's guilty by association almost.
Yeah, something like that. And here's where it gets even weirder. The FBI, they were also checking out this American Slavic Congress group, the folks behind that magazine, right? Thought maybe they were communists too.
Hold on, back up a bit. What's the deal with the magazine? We just kind of flew past that. It's not just about Tesla, right? What's the vibe?
Okay, so on the surface, it's all, celebrating Slavic culture, achievements, look at what we brought to America kind of thing. But it was published in 1948. Right when things are getting really tense with the Soviets.
Okay, so Cold War backdrop. What kind of articles are we talking about here?
Well, they've got one, The American Way of Life. It's all about peace, understanding, that kind of thing. Freedom, opportunity.
Sounds almost like a direct response to all that Cold War fear-mongering, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's kind of ironic when you think about it. Here's the SBI looking for communist booty men, and this magazine is out there preaching peace and the American dream. But you can bet they were reading between the lines looking for any little hint of subversive stuff.
So where does Tesla fit in all of this? Did he even know about any of this, the FBI suspicions?
It's hard to say. The documents, they don't really give us a clear answer. We don't know how involved he was with the American Slavic Congress, or even if he was aware they were on the FBI's radar.
Okay, so we've got this whole web of intrigue going on. Tesla, the FBI, the American Slavic Congress, and then there's this other name that keeps popping up, Sava Kosanovic. Who was this guy?
Ah, Kosanovic. Now, he's an interesting character. He said he was Tesla's nephew, even tried to claim some of his stuff after he died. But here's the kicker. He ends up as the Yugoslavian ambassador to the United States.
Wait, the Yugoslavian ambassador, that's a pretty big deal, right? Especially during the Cold War. Weren't they doing their own thing with the Soviets and all?
Exactly. Yugoslavia was a wild card. They'd broken away from the Soviet bloc under Tito, so they were walking this tightrope between East and West. Nobody really knew where they stood.
So, Kosanovic, connected to Tesla, representing this country, playing both sides. I bet the FBI had a field day with him.
Oh, you better believe it. And the files, they paint a really mixed picture of the guy. Some reports say he was pro-communist. Others say he was a hardcore Serbian patriot. It's tough to tell what to believe.
So which one was it? Communist, patriot, something in between, do the documents say?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? We're left to connect the dots ourselves. It's like a puzzle with some pieces missing. What were his real motives? How much influence did he really have on Tesla? It's fascinating.
This is insane. We started with Tesla, this penniless immigrant turned scientific genius, and we've stumbled into Cold War paranoia, international intrigue, and a Yugoslavian power player. So where does all this leave us? We've got Tesla, a true visionary, tangled up in this web of Cold War intrigue. And at the center, you've got Kosanovic, this guy who seems to be playing both sides, Belgrade and Washington. It's a lot to unpack.
It is, and to really grasp it, you have to think about the bigger picture. It's 1948. Yugoslavia has just come out of World War II. They're dealing with the rise of communism. And then, boom, the Tito-Stalin split.
Tito-Stalin split. Okay, for those of us who might not have gotten that memo.
Right, sorry. Basically, Yugoslavia under Tito said no thanks to Stalin and the Soviet Union. They went their own way. It was a huge deal, shook up the whole global chessboard. And it's important because it turned Yugoslavia into this kind of independent socialist state. Not quite East, not quite West.
Stuck in the middle with the whole world watching.
Yeah.
So Kosanovic being their ambassador during all that, no wonder the FBI was taking notes.
Exactly. And you got to remember, the FBI's whole thing at this time, finding communists. Kosanovic linked to Tesla with this mysterious past. He was like a walking question mark to them.
Straight out of a spy thriller. But did they ever actually find anything on him, anything concrete?
Well, they found out he was handing out pro-Yugoslavian stuff to Serbian communities here in the U.S. But were these, like, harmless cultural things or communist propaganda? That part's a little fuzzy, even now.
So even with all these documents, we still don't have all the answers.
That's the thing about history. It's messy. We get these glimpses, these little pieces of the puzzle. It's up to us to put them together, try to make sense of it all.
And it makes you wonder about Tesla. This guy, he dedicated his life to science, to making the world a better place. And yet he ends up caught in this whole Cold War mess. It's kind of sad when you think about it.
It really shows you even geniuses, they don't exist in a vacuum. Tesla's story, it's about science, sure, but it's also about politics, about the time he lived in, the forces that shape us, even when we don't realize it.
This whole deep dive has been amazing. We started with some old files, and we've ended up in a world of espionage, international relations, you name it.
It just goes to show you the past, it's full of surprises. You never know what you're going to find when you start digging.
And in Tesla's case, some of those mysteries, they're still out there, waiting for someone to uncover them.
That's the fun of it all.
Well, one thing's for sure, Tesla's story. It's far from over. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of Nikola Tesla, where scientific brilliance met Cold War paranoia. Until next time.